What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be discussing UFC 299, and we're going to be reviewing the entire main card. What a card it was. What a card it was. And real quick, the setup is kind of weird. I'm not in my usual place. I apologize if the lighting is kind of off. I'm going to try to fix it, though. So the quality might be a little off for the next few days until like next Monday. And I'm sick, so sorry if I sound sick, but let's just jump right into it. Let's start off with the main card opener of Petr Yan versus Song Yadong. Petr Yan gets the decision victory. I needed a Petr Yan win in my life. I really did. I am so happy he's back in the win column, and now he can look forward to, top contenders in the division. And I still believe he is a top contender in the division, and I still think he is the most skilled bantamweight alive. And he gets the win over a game Song Yadong, who is still very, very good. In that first round, I gave it to Song Yadong. And now I do want to say one thing. I didn't write any notes down. When I go into these fights, I just want to enjoy them. I don't want to worry about, videos and writing notes down. So sorry if I get a few things wrong. But Song Yadong won that first round. He was landing more. He was, getting the advantages in the clinch game. Petr Yan couldn't really get anything going. He wasn't landing. He didn't look great, which worried me. But at the same time, I know Petr Yan gets better as the fight goes longer. And if there was a fourth and a fifth round, he probably would have finished Song Yadong, in my opinion. So Song Yadong gets the first round. He's looking good. I'm a little worried for Yan because he has to win the next two rounds. But the next two rounds comes, and he's starting to land. He's starting to do better in the clinch. His boxing's opening up. Song Yadong looks to be getting a little bit more tired. And as we know, Petr Yan starts to build. And in the second and third round, I think he clearly won. Now, some people think Song Yadong actually won that fight. I was genuinely shocked when I was looking in Instagram comments. People thought Song Yadong was won the fight, and it was a robbery. I thought Petr Yan clearly won the first and the second and third round, excuse me. Nobody could really do much on the ground. No guy could really hold the other down. So I felt like it was, who was winning the striking exchanges, who was winning the boxing exchanges. And I thought that was very clearly Petr Yan in the second and third round. Overall, it was a great fight, though. It was a great fight. Going into this card, it was maybe my most anticipated fight on the card. I wanted to see if Petr Yan could bounce back against a very good opponent, and I wanted to see how Song Yadong could do against another high-level guy. We know he fought Corey Sandhagen. He lost, but Corey is obviously one of the elite guys in the bantamweight division. I know Song Yadong lost, but at the same time, it was a close fight. Somewhat of a close fight, and I still feel like Song Yadong is going to be a champion one day. He's 26 years old. He's still so good. So a bright future for Song Yadong. Where does Petr Yan, go from here? Who does he fight next? Does he fight a Chito Vera? Maybe. Does he fight I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I'm not really sure. Maybe a Chito Vera. Maybe that fight happens. Is there an Umar fight? I don't think that's likely. Do they run it back with Corey? I'm not sure. There's a lot of avenues Petr Yan could take, but I'm just happy he won. I'm happy he won. He still looks good, and he's still one of the elite guys in the bantamweight division alongside Song Yadong. Take no credit away from him. He's still an elite fighter. But overall, happy Petr Yan is officially back. Let's move on to the second fight on the main card. Gilbert Burns versus Jack Della Maddalena. Jack Della Maddalena gets the third round TKO. This was another crazy fight. I thought Gilbert Burns did well in the first and second round. He was winning the grappling exchanges. He looked good. He looked healthy. He looked fast. And I know he lost this fight, but I still feel like there's a future for Gilbert Burns in the UFC. I really do. I liked seeing him use his grappling more. We know how good his jiu-jitsu credentials are. His jiu-jitsu, I said that wrong. His jiu-jitsu credentials are. I'm sick. You could probably tell. So I like to see him use his grappling more in the UFC because he really doesn't use his grappling all that much. So I liked how he implemented that in the first and second round. In the first round, I thought he clearly won due to his grappling. And in the second round, JDM was starting to land more on the feet, but Gilbert Burns landed that really nice elbow. That was a really hard elbow. He landed that, and then I think he landed another right hand. So I gave Gilbert Burns that round just because of the damage. I think JDM probably landed more, but Gilbert Burns landed the heavier shots. And then in that third round, it was pretty close. I think JDM was winning, but it didn't really matter because I thought Gilbert Burns was still up 2-0. Gilbert Burns was in the grappling. He was trying to kind of coast maybe to the end of the fight. There was around a minute left, I think, maybe a minute and a half. They were, exchanging in the grappling, and then they broke out of the clinch, and then JDM lands a beautiful knee right on the button, a beautiful knee. There was so many just amazing knees tonight. I don't know, I just wanted to bring that up. Beautiful knee, hurts Gilbert Burns. He rocks him, he falls over, and then JDM, vicious ground and pound. That fight went on for a while. I think it could have been stopped earlier, but I don't hate it. Gilbert Burns was trying to survive, but that was a great stoppage. JDM gets the finish in the third round. I don't think it should have gone longer. I think they gave Gilbert Burns more than enough, opportunities to find himself, but he didn't. JDM gets the third round TKO. That was a great fight. I really enjoyed that one. Big win for Jack Della Maddalena. Biggest win of his career. Where does he go from here? I know he called out Shavkat Rakhmonov. I think that's a good fight. I really think that's a good fight. Nobody really wants to fight Shavkat. So you make that fight happen. You do maybe Leon Edwards versus Bilal Muhammad at UFC 302, which I think is targeted for New Jersey. You do Leon versus Bilal there. And then on the same card, number one contenders match, Shavkat Rakhmonov versus Jack Della Maddalena. Makes all the sense in the world. It makes all the sense in the world. Huge win for Jack Della Maddalena. I love the call out. Get that Shavkat fight going. And for Gilbert Burns, he looked good. I can't really take too much away from him. He looked good. I want to see him, continue to fight in the UFC. But who does he fight next? I don't really know. I really don't know who he fights next. Off the top of my head, I don't know. Do you just make a fun rematch with Usman? I don't know. I don't know if Usman would really want that fight. Doesn't make too much sense for him. Do you do a rematch with Wonder Boy? Maybe Sean Brady. I think Sean Brady could be a good fight, actually. So, a lot of avenues Gilbert Burns could take. I don't want to see him retire. I think that would kind of suck. Because I still think he's good. He looked good in the fight. I mean, he got caught. At the end of the day, he got caught. He was looking good. So, JDM gets the third round TKO. Biggest win of his career. Let's move on to the featured fight on the main card. Kevin Holland welcomes Michael Venom Page to the UFC. And I want to say one thing. People seem to absolutely love that fight. They thought it was high level. I didn't think it was high level at all. I didn't think it was high level at all. I'm not going to spend too much time on this fight, but Kevin Holland's not good. I got to say one thing. Kevin Holland is not that great of a fighter. Yeah, he has some jiu-jitsu in his bag, but his wrestling's not great. And I don't even think his striking is that great. He's supposed to be this fun striker. I don't even think he's a good striker. He didn't land anything. He did not land anything against Michael Venom Page. And on Michael Venom Page's side, yeah, he got the win, but I don't see him beating any of the top guys in the division. I really don't. I know there wasn't a call out, but a lot of people are asking for Michael Page to fight Wonder Boy. I think Wonder Boy destroys him. I just think there's levels to this game, and I know his point karate style is cool and he's good at it, but I just don't know if that will be able to translate into the UFC, if you get what I'm saying. I didn't really enjoy the fight. I thought it was clearly the worst fight on the main card. The fact that it was above JDM and Burns and Yan and Song Yadong was insane to me. And on that note, Cody Brundage and Bo Nickel is above Charles Oliveira and Arman Tsarukyan on UFC 300. That is one of the craziest things I've ever seen. I just had to bring that up. But overall, Kevin Holland's not great. Michael Venom Page is fun, sure, but I don't think he's going to do much in the UFC. He landed one really nice elbow, I think, but at the same time, he was throwing the 1-2 like 10 times in a row, and Kevin Holland couldn't make the read. So, I didn't enjoy the fight too much. I think it's overrated. I think both guys are overrated. Yeah. Let's move on to the co-main event between Dustin Poirier and Benoit Saint-Denis. Now, in my predictions video, I did pick Benoit Saint-Denis to win this fight. But I did say everybody was underestimating Dustin Poirier, and he could absolutely go out there and win the fight, and that's exactly what he did. Second round knockout for Dustin Poirier. What a knockout. What a knockout. First round, it was all Benoit Saint-Denis. The pressure, the cardio, the aggression, all Benoit Saint-Denis. He was in Poirier's face the whole time, level changing, getting his back, and his grappling looked absolutely phenomenal. Now, he won the first round. Dustin Poirier was trying to, go for a few guillotines. Didn't work at all. I know there's been a few memes about that. But Poirier didn't look all too great in the first round. Of course, he was very defensive. But, Benoit Saint-Denis was just in his face. He kind of had to do what he had to do, defend off the submissions. And in that second round, full aggression from Benoit again. Dustin Poirier pulls guillotine again. Off the break, though, he catches him with a beautiful right hook on the button, drops Benoit. That would have been the end of the fight. And then a nasty ground and pound punch. I think it was with his right hand, which put him out cold. Poirier gets the round 2 KO. And earlier in that second round, too, he wobbled Benoit as Benoit was going for a single leg, I believe. On the feet, I said it in my predictions video as well. Benoit Saint-Denis a little overrated. He throws a lot of the same combinations. He leaves his chin open, and you cannot do that against Dustin Poirier, especially when you're exchanging in the pocket, because Dustin Poirier in the pocket with his boxing, when his back's against the cage, is one of the most dangerous guys in the UFC, and he showed Benoit Saint-Denis that there's levels in the striking department, and he finishes him in the second round. But we also have to bring up that staph infection for Benoit Saint-Denis, because he did look more tired in that second round. If you guys didn't know, you got to take a lot of antibiotic for the staph infection, and that'll just drain your cardio. Now, it's no excuse, but it is something that we should, touch on. So if it did get into that third, fourth, fifth round, I think it would have been all Dustin Poirier. So overall, fantastic for Dustin Poirier. I am so happy for him. He's still got it. And Islam Makhachev wants that fight in June. I mean, there's no other guys really up there. We have Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway, Charles Oliveira versus Arman Tsarukyan. Those are probably going to be wars. And if Islam wants to stay active, why not? Why not give him Dustin Poirier? I know Poirier's 1-1 in his last 2, but why not? Why not? Benoit Saint-Denis is a huge win. Nobody else is really going to be there, and I want to see Islam Makhachev active in the UFC because he is so good. I keep looking over here when the camera's over here. I apologize. I just have my screen out. I'll get better at that, when I start to, record more videos. But overall, fantastic for Dustin Poirier. He's right in that mix again. If he doesn't get an Islam fight, maybe he gets the loser of Charles versus Arman. He wins that, and then maybe you call for a title, depending on the other guys in the division, depending on a Charles Oliveira, Justin Gaethje, even Max Holloway. He's a wild card in that division right now. Maybe Max Holloway gets a win against Gaethje, and then he's right up in there for the title. So great performance from Poirier. Happy for him. Let's move on to the main event between Sean O'Malley versus Marlon Chito Vera. Where do I begin? There's a reason why these gimmick fights are not great. The last time we got a gimmick fight was Leon Edwards versus Colby Covington. And we know how that fight went. We need guys who are the best of the best to be fighting for the title. The guys who deserve it to be fighting for the title. There's no reason why Chito Vera should have been in that octagon over guys like Merab Dvalishvili or Corey Sandhagen. And he got showed absolute levels. And I don't even think he's a top 8 bantamweight in the world. I think the 2 bantamweights on the main card below him would have put on a 10 times better performance. 10 times better. But I still don't want to discredit O'Malley because he put on a beautiful performance. He won every single round. His striking looked better than ever. He landed that insane knee, which somehow did not wobble Chito Vera one bit. I don't know what that dude's chin's made of, but it's something from a different planet. I think he took something from Mars and put it in his chin because it is otherworldly. But Sean O'Malley just dismantled him for 5 rounds. Chito Vera stuck to his game plan like he always does. No volume, doesn't really do much, and tries to find a KO. And that's just not going to work against Sean O'Malley, who is a volume striker with a lot of power and is simply a better striker than you. In my predictions, I had Sean O'Malley by decision. And I also said if Chito Vera, doesn't change his style, he's just going to lose. What do you expect to do in that octagon when, you're not going to win on points and you're not the better striker? You got to go out there and look for the knockout, and he didn't really. He looked starstruck. He looked terrible. It was an embarrassing performance from Chito Vera. It really was. But I don't want to take the shine away from O'Malley, as I said. Beautiful performance. He did that. He went in there and did what he had to do. 50-45 on all scorecards, I think. Or I think there was a 50-44. I don't know what round was a 10-8. I didn't see any 10-8 rounds. But overall, beautiful performance from Sean O'Malley. He calls out Ilia Topuria. I don't want to see that fight now. Defend guys in your actual weight class, because I don't think you've defended against an actual contender. I don't think Chito Vera is an actual contender. I really don't. Maybe you get that Ilia Topuria fight in 2-3 years, but not now. With regards to that fight, I think Topuria finishes him inside 2 rounds. There's levels to this, and when you're going to go up and fight the most powerful 145er we've ever seen, I don't think he stands a chance. I really don't. I think Topuria eats his legs up. His ability to go from the body to the head, I just think it's different levels. Topuria is too good. I think he's the second best fighter in the world behind an Islam Makhachev, and I wouldn't be surprised if he gets 1, 2, 3 more defenses, and I'm calling him the best fighter in the world. I think he's that good, and his grappling is so underrated. If you look outside the UFC, it's submission after submission after submission, but that's some talk for another day. Overall, beautiful performance from Sean O'Malley. He went in there, he got it done, destroys Chito Vera. Chito Vera had no business being in there. What's next for O'Malley? I think you got to give it to Merab or Corey Sandhagen, one of those two. You do Sean O'Malley versus Merab, and then Corey Sandhagen versus Umar Nurmagomedov. Of course, O'Malley versus Merab for the title, and then Corey Sandhagen versus Umar Nurmagomedov as the number 1 contenders fight, and then maybe you do a Petr Yan versus Chito Vera. That makes some sense to me, but overall, it was a fantastic card. Who has the best performance on the main card? Why not we talk about this? I'm going to go with, it's got to be Sean O'Malley. It's got to be Sean O'Malley. I can't overthink this one. He 50-45 Chito. Amazing performance from him. Dustin Poirier fought really well. He got that knockout. Petr Yan is back. Kevin Holland, Michael Venom Page. I don't really want to talk about that. What else? I'm missing one. What was after? Oh, Gilbert Burns and Jack Della Maddalena. Fantastic fight. Overall, amazing card, top to bottom. Curtis Blades finishes Jailton Almeida. Kyler Phillips looks like a badass. He looks like a badass. He looks really good. Matej Gamrot gets it done. It was a sick card. It was a sick card from Miami. I enjoyed it a lot. Next up, UFC 300. We're here. We're almost here. We got a month left for the greatest card in UFC history. I can't wait. Let me know what you guys think of the fights. Put it in the comments. Who did you guys have winning before the fights? Put it in the comments. Let's just talk down there. Talk about the fights. Great night from Miami. Like, subscribe, do all that. Thank you. Let's go.